And next we have Tammy Parks from Howell Public Schools.
So this was my first year to attend CSTA, so I was so excited to be a part of the conference, and every session was fantastic. I am in a small rural school in the southeastern part of the state. And so any opportunity I see that I can tear the four walls down of my classroom and take my kids outside of our small environment is always, I see it as a great opportunity. Virtual field trips are something that really interests me and that I'm very passionate about. I've taught broadcast journalism for 15 years. And 10 years ago, there was a really cool project nationwide called Kids Creating Community Content. So the premise was for your students to create virtual field trips and teach those to other students in the nation. So, tell us something interesting about what's in your backyard. And so my students for multiple years participated in that. And, we would go to a historical site, or we would go to Spiral Mounds archaeological site, and really develop an interest in presenting something that is regionally interesting to us. And so, we were video conferencing. Back then it was H.323 with students from all over the globe. And I just saw the connection that my rural students were making with other students, and then being able to bring in career speakers via distance. And, all of that was just like, okay, this is where education needs to be. And then COVID hit. And so everyone's doing it now. So everyone's chatting and being virtual. So I love virtual field trips. This session I attended was about the Amazon Virtual Fulfillment Center tour. Has anyone in the group attended a field trip with them yet? I scheduled mine right away after my session, after attending the session, and I scheduled it very ambitious of me this first full week of school. And so I'm like, that's not going to happen. So I had to cancel because it was just nuts. I'm only in the classroom 2 hours, and I do so many other jobs at my school, but I'm definitely going to get it back on the schedule because it's all about computer science. So next slide. So I've just pulled together some of the highlights from the session that I think you guys would be interested in seeing. Here's the session description. Of course, it's all about computer science, real world computer science. And who doesn't love Amazon? I've got boxes at my house every day. So I'm like, this is great. So, they're learning computer science and words like algorithms and sensors and cloud computing. So all of those things that we're teaching in our classroom, but we're making real world connections. And just FYI, I pulled in the hex code colored for my slides today. Isn't that fun? I learned that in some of my computer science curriculum for the Amazon logo. So there's Amazon orange and black in hex code. All right, so when you sign up for a tour, it's super simple. They're kind of like on demand, where you sign up and there's field trips available all throughout the month. You can go to next slide. So it's easy to book. It's they're delivering them every month in a great frequency. So they really talk about in this tour what happens when you click buy to the doorstop, which is just certainly amazing when you think about the innovative technology that makes that happen. So the kids discover how computer science, state-of-the-art engineering, incredible people deliver customer orders at Amazon. So of course, we know these facts, as computer science folks. We see these represented in many presentations and on a national level, but it's really great, I think, to bring in those career fields and those like Amazon into your classroom to actually connect with it in a real world environment. So again, some more facts coming from Amazon on why this is important to really expose our students to computer science. The tour agenda, it's about an hour tour, and the Fulfillment Center tour for 40 minutes, they take you from order to pick, to pack, to SLAM, to shipping and delivery. So it goes through all of those phases of the process. And I Googled fulfillment center to see what the closest one, there's actually one in Tulsa, right? There's one in Northwest Arkansas. I think there's another one in Oklahoma. So there's a few in our state. There's a lot of structure to the field trip where they're providing kind of back end work and pre-work for your students to do. So your students are not just passive, content consumers. They're actually learning throughout with some tie-ins. Then there's also a Q&A that the folks will actually chat with your students in the end. There's a 3-2-1 organizer that they provide where you're actually looking at what are the ways that computer science and robotics are used to help fulfill customers' orders. So your students are writing down facts throughout the tour, and those will, really develop great conversations that you can continue in your classroom after taking this tour. So here's your tour expectations. Like I mentioned, what problems would you want to solve with computer science as kind of a big, fun, big question in the end. I'll skip this one. If we have some time, in my session, we have some trivia at the end. I won't play this video, but throughout the hour tour, there's, I think, 4 or 5 videos that the kids watch, but I have this one linked in the slide deck if you want to watch it. I also have a jumping off point where you can go to what the teacher toolkit looks like, and those videos are embedded there. But this one actually is about a minute, and it talks about algorithms. So this is one of the first videos they see.
Did you want me to play it,
No,
Tammy?
you can skip it. They can go back and watch it later.
Maybe.
Here we go.
Trying to skip it. There we go.
Okay, so also provided as part of the tour are some optional extension activities, which the Amazon Cyber Robotics Challenge looks fantastic to me. And there's also a SLAM algorithm, dissect the SLAM algorithm, a class discussion questions, and then class chats that you can actually take it into an additional classroom setting where you're chatting with one of the experts one-on-one. This is another video. You want to play this one? This is about the extension for Cyber Robotics Challenge. It's just real short, about 40 seconds. Oh, I'm not sure it's pulling in your sound. That's okay. You can skip it, Kristen, and they can look at it later.
Okay. Trying. There we go.
One of the things that I went back and researched then after learning about Amazon Future Engineer, which is kind of the umbrella for providing the fulfillment tours. Anyone familiar with Future Engineer or have applied for that? I don't see anyone. Oh, yes, Melissa. Yes, Melissa, I guess, are you a future engineer? Have you signed up for the program as a teacher?
I did it for 2 years, and it's changed this year to Pathway STEM or something like that. And I didn't do it this year because I am doing the pilot for code.org for their CSA program.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was really interested that you can go to the next slide, that Amazon Future Engineer and this one first before I talk about the tie into curriculum. But this is just another jumping off point for talking about the STEM career talks and the fulfillment centers. And there is the link there. You can go to the next slide that has some additional information about signing up for class chats. And there's that teacher toolkit that I mentioned earlier about, that has all of kind of the script for the tour. And then the next slide is, this is really, as a Amazon Future Engineer, and I applied for this, but you can sign up for kind of swag from Amazon. You can also, if you qualify, you can receive a free annual membership to CSTA, which I did not know that. So that was kind of interesting. And then also you can get some free Amazon Web Service says educate to access free content and cloud computing credits. So that was really cool. But they also have links to they push several curriculum, elementary curriculum, as well at the middle school, high school level. They're connected to co.org, and they are behind the additional funding put into CSA coming, that co.org is being released. So if you can go to the next slide. All right, real quick, and I know my time is up, but during the tour, these are some of the trivia that was really fun. So this one specifically. So you guys can answer in the chat. How long was the fastest recorded Amazon delivery from order to doorstep? See if anyone can get it. Karen, you're right. 30 minutes. Isn't that bizarre? I know. I'm like, what? They must have lived right next door to the fulfillment center. So next slide. I'll do one more. How does Amazon organize and store items in each fulfillment center? This one was kind of surprising to me during the CSTA session. Anybody? Okay, let's see. I see some C, some B by color. Actually, it's D, randomly, no organization method. And they go on in the tour to tell you kind of the method to the madness. But isn't that strange? And Barbie's like, what? You saw the picture of the big fulfillment center and all those bots and the little robots that move the containers. They are by, there's QR codes all over the floor. So the little they look like little Roombas, and they haul all these big stacks of stuff around, which are randomly organized. There's no method. So anyway, you can go back and look at some of those. I think I'll tell you the answer on the next one. We won't go through it. This one is, how does a packer choose? And that's B. And then the next one is, the final station performs one final check. And that answer is A. It weighs the item as it goes over the conveyor belt. And I think the next one is, packages are sorted, and it's all of the above. One person in my session at CSTA was like, why do you get the smallest little thing in the biggest box? How many of you have received that shipment? And they're like, why in the world do you send this big box in one little thing? And they go on to explain that as well, but it was such an interesting thing. And so I can't wait to actually take my students on that tour. So, but anyway,